All right, Cam, you wanna roll us in?
What's
Or Radish,
the show
you wanna
called
roll us
again?
in? Welcome to Timegate Tavern. I am one of your hosts, Herchibald von Hymansbane.
Hiya, Herchibald. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Radish and Rixxy?
I don't know.
Well, I know. We're both doing great. It's superb. It's 7 weeks into Dragonflight, and it's...
How are we feeling about it?
Yeah, that I don't know.
So
You've not played any Dragonflight.
I've played Dragonflight. I'm not sure how I feel about it now.
I want to say,
It's
I
fucked
think
up.
what I love about this show specifically is we have maybe the weirdest Warcraft show because we're all so hyper casual and apathetic at times. I want to ask, how was your launch? Like the launch experience for you before we get into the expansion? Because like last time we talked, it was before release even.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rixxy, how was your launch experience?
It was pretty alright. I didn't play like the day it launched. It was like the day or so after. It was fine, I guess. I played not a ton. Like back in Legion and Warlords, I pretty much poop socked when that came out, and like, oh, let me experience all this stuff and really get wrapped up. And with Dragonflight, I took it a lot more casually. I was like deciding what character I want to start with, and then jump through a bunch of hoops and get going. I'd say it was pretty all right though.
I'll tell you,
no server issues, but
did not enjoy it. I did not like the queues. I don't think I got to play until about the third day. Because I would log in and see like 500 people ahead of me, and then I was like, I'm gonna go like do literally anything else. Day 4, I actually get in and I start leveling, and you know what? It wasn't too bad. The only thing I did not like was the key feature of the expansion, which is Dragonflight.
How could you not like that?
I don't. I just want to go up.
But
I
you
don't
can't go
like.
up.
Yeah, but you have to wait like 15 minutes before you can go up.
You're doing it wrong because you're bad at the game.
No, you're doing it wrong. Oh, yeah. Like every time I would mention it, like people would go like, I don't get it. Like I'm not having that problem. But if you have a quest where you are in like the basin of a valley, and like the turn in is up at the top of the valley, and you don't have all the upgrades to your dragon because you're just like doing things naturally, like you're not going out of your way to collect all the doodads to get all your dragon powers. Like you have to wait freaking 5 minutes for your dragon energy to fill up.
Why would you play like that though? It's like complaining that you don't want to go to the flight trainer to buy flying. You're like, my ground mounts are so slow.
No, like I would legitimately I wouldn't mind, the reduction in speed if it meant that I could just go up most of the time. And I have that now because anytime I have to go fly to the raid, like if I don't hit at like just the right angle, I don't have enough time to like build up height. So like I have to fucking plan out my flight path to make sure that I give myself enough of an arc to space it out to where I can gain enough altitude to where I don't have to land into like the area with all the fucking elites in it.
So I've seen this complaint on the subreddit, and I think I want to do a video specifically making fun of people that are too stupid to fly in Dragonflight.
Yeah, like me.
Because I find it, maybe we'll get into this later. I want to talk about my launch experience.
Okay.
It was fun. I enjoyed that launch. Like as soon as the boat first arrived, it was fun to get on there. I didn't have any problems. Like I was lucky as far as that went.
I think you mentioned that in your last video, like seeing everybody at the dock for that boat and like hopping on and like that
was a hoot.
Kind of yeah.
Now granted,
hold on. I'm sorry. The boat. So your alliance? That's what you're saying? Oh.
Yeah. No, I did a whole video about how I'm alliance because like furries ruined the horde so bad. I think you know what? This is my first expansion where I'm like alliance main.
Oh yeah?
Because I try and force horde every time because I love my Tauren character, and this is the first time where it's like I'm not even gonna try. Like I'm tired of getting my hurt.
That's
I
understandable.
It's like fresh start. I'm playing my new evoker class that's totally, divorced from everything else. It's like, you know what, clean slate. I'm gonna try playing this way.
I played Dragonflight the same way that I played the last 2/3 of Shadowlands, where I didn't read any quest texts or watch any cutscenes or listen to any dialogue.
Oh, you're missing out a little bit, not much.
I do not care.
So, launch day I thought was good. I had fun.
Mm-hmm.
The next day I got really sick, and by the end of the week it turned out I had COVID.
Oh yeah?
Which meant, this is a good and a bad thing, I got to stay home from work.
Mm-hmm.
So I played a lot of Dragonflight. I think I burned myself out by spending too much time playing Dragonflight. And then the past 2 months, I've been so sick and coughy that I can't do voice work and stuff. So it's I wanted to do videos about the launch of the expansion and all kinds of, we're going to have a bunch of these shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's today's the first day that my voice is working.
And we're going to make sure that it is wrung out for everything it's worth by the end of this.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-hour show.
3-4 hour show, quick, 5-hour show.
So I want to ask, how are you guys? Do you have a main? Do you have a Dragonflight main?
I know I do, and that is because I am a protection paladin one trick and will probably never play anything else. I wanted to tank for my raid, but we ended up getting somebody with a better spec who had more gear than I did. So my buddy was like, you can DPS. I'm like, okay, I'll trade DPS. I don't like DPS. It's fucking lame.
Protection Paladin DPS is pretty bold.
Protection Paladin DPS is pretty good, but they wanted me to play Retribution, which is the less cool spec. And I don't care that it does damage now. I don't. It's not why I play. People are trying to tell me, oh, but you're high middle pack, and that's really good. And I'm like, if I don't see myself in the top 5 of the DPS meter, I'm not having fun, so I just quit. How about you, Rix? How's your main?
Well, so that's the thing. I started out. I feel like I always try and start every expansion the same because Paladin is my first and truest love, forever and ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Dirty Ret player through thick and thin. And there was something about it this time that was not jiving with me. I don't know what it was.
They gave you buttons to press.
Kind of. During the kind of pre-patch, post Shadowlands kind of thing, I was really enjoying Ret again for some reason. I have no idea why. When the new talent system dropped,
because of Ashen Hollow and Divine Toll at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some stuff going on where this is a blast, and then Dragonflight, and I'm like, this is
don't have Ashen Hollow anymore, so it's way less fun.
It's fine, but it just wasn't holding me in the same way it usually does. So I switched to Fury Warrior, who's my second string. And that's been all right. In Shadowlands, I specifically leveled up a Shadow Priest because they seemed like they would be a blast, and then the Shadow Priest changes came down, and I just feel too stupid to play it well, I guess. So they've been just kind of sitting in the roster collecting dust, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know Fury Warrior is doing pretty good, but Arms is the one that's fucking bonking people super hard in PvP now.
Everybody says that, and they can say that until the end of time, but I get 2 axes and you only have 1, so I have to do more damage. Plus, on a more nerd note, my warrior is a blood elf, and I always imagine they're they had Far Strider training, and it's well, hunters can dual wield. So, what would a warrior be? Well, they fight like a Far Strider, except they just have bigger sticks to beat people with.
Hunters can't dual wield anymore.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. If I could play Survival Hunter and rock 2 axes and just basically be Rexar, I'd be set. I'd play Hunter.
I'm still surprised they didn't do that when they updated survival. They're like, you have a spear now, my guy.
Ooh,
It's like,
double
well, thanks,
axes
but
or like double swords, like double sabers, and then you can be like a dark ranger. Fuck yeah.
oh god, Drizzt's gonna come back.
Fuck yeah, dude. How about you, Radish? How's your main?
So, like I promised, I did play Evoker, and I have a lot of fun with Evoker.
Have you done any like super high keys or any raid bosses on it?
I've never done a mythic key.
No,
Since
what
the
the
mythic
hell?
dungeon system came out, I've never done a key.
Really?
But well, that's the thing. It's like I kind of I wanted Dragonflight to be a change where I start doing more of this stuff. I joined a guild.
Mhm.
I just got a notification that they're wrapping up the guild meeting that I thought started 2 hours from now, so that's cool. But next week I might get in on that, and but yeah, Evoker. I've been playing. What's the healing one called?
No clue.
There's, I hate the names.
It's like Revestation.
Revistationation,
Hmm.
and I like it. I feel like the kit. Of course, it's healer focused, so like sometimes the world quests take longer because I don't have the DPS. But apparently the DPS one isn't that much better, so I don't feel like I'm missing out.
Hmm.
I think it's a lot of fun to play in dungeons. I did do the raid. I did LFR. And the short range on the heals makes it very strange.
Yeah, I have a buddy who is I don't know what I guess you could say like bitching and like crying and like shitting his pants about it. I don't know if that's like the correct term. Anyways, yeah, was really upset that his range on heals was very very bad because we have a lot of range players in our guilds, and if you're trying to do keys and your range players are hanging all the way back, and you got to heal your tank, you got to be up next to the tank, and then your range players are all the way over there, and you can't fucking hit them. And apparently, there's like a talent build you can take that makes that a little bit less irritating. But if you like want to learn more, there's like a bunch of guys in my guild who play the healing spec on that, and they're also cringe furries, so you would like get along with them really well.
Yeah, I tried Evoker for a little while. I made a concerted effort, I will say, to enjoy it, and I don't know. There's just something about it. Preservation, I think. I don't play a lot of healers. Like the only real healer I've played any serious amount is Holy Paladin and some pretty high mythic pluses.
H-Ball's pretty fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy them. And they're the kind of dichotomy between abilities of like, okay, my melee cone. I mean, I know they've changed it since, but the distancing aspect. Do I just want to be butt buddies with a tank, or do I want to hang back? Like, you have a little options there. And as Evoker has some kind of movement stuff, but it feels like it's a little awkward sometimes. I'm like, I feel like I should be able to top this guy off, and I just, something happens. It's Shadow Moon Burial Ground or something, and Nerzul's being a bitch, and it's just kind of nonsense.
Yeah,
it's a little weird. It's also I like the movement stuff to a degree, but you have to have a certain amount of muscle memory that I don't know that anyone has yet, because there's quirks to all of it. And I like one of the better spells is the one where you just like you fly to your target and you instantly heal them. Like that's one of the stronger ones you want to use. But it always positions you in a way that you're going to take damage. Like if there's any AoE, I've never seen a tank that has enough space for you to land.
Yeah.
Because why would they? It's like he stands out of the fire and then you come in to heal him and land on the fire every time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like other ones where like you fly across the map and you breathe green everywhere. Like it looks neat, but it seems like a terrible actual spell. Like it doesn't seem to have the impact I feel like it should.
Yeah, it's like you kind of have to imagine where your feet are going to be after you press that button, and then make sure there's not going to be any like shit in the way or
not even
accidentally
that, though.
ass
It's
pull a
just-
pack.
Like I'll risk myself taking damage, and it's like I calculated that part. But then I look at the healing throughput, and it didn't seem to negate as much damage as it should have.
No.
Because there's kind of a hot tide to it, so, like, I want more instant heals that are not necessarily AoE. But I feel like sometimes I'm very limited in direct heals, like, that are instant. Like, it seems kind of like Druid, where everything's tied to a hot. And there's a couple times where you can just poof people up, but those are either like severely limited in number, like the number of targets. It's like maxes out at 3 or something stupid. And so in dungeons, I felt that less, but after doing LFR, it feels like the kit's missing something, and maybe I just need a different talent build for raiding.
There are a couple of different builds that you can run, but I am the wrong guy to ask about those. I like healing and DPS are like not things that I think about.
But despite all that, I am enjoying it.
Yeah,
well, that's good. I'm glad that people are enjoying Evoker, because I feel like the kind of initial vibe I got was that it was going to be kind of polarizing, not only with the race restrictions, but that it's like ranged DPS, and like there's no melee spec or tank spec or anything. Like, I feel like it was positioned well to be kind of like hot button kind of issue for some things. But
Did we talk about this on the last episode about how pissed I am that you can't play as like the freaking yoked like bodybuilder Drakthir and then like be like a prot warrior or something?
Yeah. And
yeah.
There's a lot of people. Like, I know you're not alone either.
Yeah, but then you'd have to be a Drakthir.
Yeah, but you would look cool as shit.
That's true.
The Drakthir are so strange. I think what's interesting is like, I'm more into the RP than either of you.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I really like with the Pandaren is they have lore and they have some archetypes for like what the characters are like, and they give you examples of variety and how to write your own character that's unique. With the Drakthir, they're all literally children that have never experienced life before.
So you're just like this autistic robot.
But they're also adults, so it's not like they have childlike innocence and they want to see the world. Like with Pandaren, there's some of them where it's like, wow, they're skeleton people. I wonder if I can teach them kung fu, and they're like open-minded about it.
Yeah.
And with the Drakthir, if you talk to NPCs, some of them are like, I'm a hardened general that should lead armies. And you talk to another one, and it's like, I don't know, maybe I do like cheese. I'm going to craft wooden ducks for toys and give them to children, because I don't know, maybe I like whittling. I've never had a hobby before. And it's like what is this? Like, they're written so poorly.
Yeah, they don't have like a purpose in life or in the narrative or in the lore.
But so even then, they don't have like a motivation.
Yeah.
Like, what I found interesting was before the expansion, they had that early access period where you could play Drakthir, but there weren't any like Drakthir NPCs out. And everybody role-playing one was doing the same thing I was doing, where it's basically like everyone's in mid-crisis mode. Like, you just woke up and realized your whole life was a lie. And also, there's an immediate threat. And also, the world's taken over by strangers you don't know if you can trust or not. And so, like, there's Drakthir hanging out in Stormwind, and, like, a dwarf will walk up and introduce himself, and then one of the Drakthir players will, like, basically, like, borderline start a fight or get real defensive and leave. And it's, like, because everyone's kind of half scared, and they're not sure, like, you know, what's really going on. Like, we have to figure this out. As soon as the expansion hit, it's like, oh, I love butter. I'm gonna sell butter.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
What you do is, like, you know, you wake up, you're pulled out of stasis, and, like, you find out that the whole thing you're created for was, you know, kind of a wash. And you're like, well, shit, you know, I have no purpose now. Oh, hey, this, like, weird skeleton creature is like, coming up to me, and apparently, you know, he's gone through a similar struggle for purpose, like, after being, you know, effectively released from slavery. You know? That's how you, like, connect with, you know, at least the Horde characters. I'm not sure how they would go about. Like, maybe for Alliance, you get, like, the Night Elves, and they're like, we totally get it. We understand what it's like to have your kingdom basically be annihilated because like they had the whole Moonwell or not Moonwell, Well of Eternity thing go on, stuff like that.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's been fun to see, like Rixxy said, there are people that are enjoying it, and that's great.
Mm.
I want to ask real quick, how do you guys feel about the crafting and gathering professions?
Have not touched it.
I think it's interesting. I haven't really tried to push it to like any serious degree. It's like I'll make some gear for an alt or something and pass it along and kind of like minor stuff. I like that the system is more expansive and interconnected, but it feels like it almost borderline, it's like too interconnected. I don't know. It feels like there's some things where it's like, okay, I need like 4 different guys to make this the way I want.
I looked at the guide for how to craft gear for a character as soon as it came out because I when we were gearing up for Shadowlands before Raid came out and like everybody in the guild was coordinating, who's making what. That was a lot of fun. When this came out, I started reading the guide, and like after page 4 or 5, like my eyes just glazed over, and I just like kind of tuned out, and I didn't mess with it. I was like, you know what, whatever. Like Mythic Plus is going to drop enough loot. I can gear my character, just playing the game normally. And I got done, and I'm like, well, I'm kind of short on gold. I'll take a second crack at it, and then I find out that there are people in trade chat like getting scammed because you have like a random chance to like get an extra good item if you craft it well, and like people are guaranteeing like the extra good item and not giving it to them, and there's nothing that Blizzard can do because they got fucking scammed in the game. And I just like, yeah, I'm not at all interested.
That's just called hardcore goblin RP, okay?
Yeah.
Man, I think gathering is the best it's ever been, and crafting I don't want to involve myself in.
Yes, I have to agree with you there.
It's also, economically speaking, it seems like things aren't that great. Like I've seen I don't know how many horror stories about how like, oh yeah, we're just not doing enchants. Like there's like a new rule in the guild. You don't need an enchant. We understand. Like
because they're fucking expensive now.
It's a little bonkers, and it's a little and there's a problem with Classic where the economy got super inflated because there's a WoW token.
Yeah.
So gold is like flowing in much faster than it should just by grinding dungeons. And it's like they didn't necessarily account for that, or they did. And it's annoying to do it this way. So I've been enjoying like the idea of gathering. I've been selling my mats and making money. I want the game to be fun to do. I was actually thinking of like I wrote an essay. I don't know if I'm going to publish this one, but are either of you familiar with how they do it in Final Fantasy?
Nope.
Yeah,
because there's like a mini game where like you're actively doing something, and you think about what you're doing. It doesn't just like you click on an herb and you get it. And I feel like with WoW right now, like there's a little bit of that where you'll see something where it's like there's a good rock here, but it's on fire, so you have to like put yourself out, because you'll catch on fire as soon as you get the mat out of it. And it's stuff like that where it's like, oh, they're adding personality that was maybe missing.
Well, in WoW, there's a chance for a Dark Iron Dwarf to come and steal your ore if you mine it.
Oh, yeah.
There's also a chance to get ganked.
Yeah, there's a chance to just get murdered.
So it's fun. I think they're doing that stuff kind of neat. The crafting, I don't know. Like, I feel like I see what they're trying to do, but it almost seems like with the work order system, it's like they didn't test it at all. And it's almost like they knew they weren't going to test it because it's like, let's just get a big sample size and have the morons do it after they pay us.
Yeah.
And they actually just put up a thing today talking about how, well, we've been listening to your feedback, and we agree there are problems, and we're looking at solutions.
Pretty par of the course for Blizzard posts. It
A
would have
little
been
bit.
nice if we got like a little bit more insight on, exactly what maybe the root cause is, what, we as players can do to try and curb it. Because a lot of the issues that I have with WoW, its economy, and like the way that guilds and pugs are run is like 100% a culture issue with the players of the game. And it's like stuff that has arisen because of systems in the game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can circumvent the systems by buying a WoW token.
Yeah, that's another
So,
thing that I wish nobody fucking bought into, but people are fucking rubes.
so yeah, that's what that is. Let's go back to dragon riding.
Okay, cool.
I want
The
to
best
ask.
part of the expansion.
I know, Duke, you're not a big gun with flying, but do you at least care about your customizable mount that you love every night?
I am still using the default red one that I got at the start because I can't be fucked to customize it at all.
You didn't even change it to like the blue one?
No. I mean,
Wow.
I got the blue one. Like they give you like the different colors. I just don't care.
That's amazing. I thought you'd like the blue one more.
If they let me do dragon riding on like any one of the 1,000 dragon mounts that I actually like, I'll probably care.
Did you get the Fell Drake?
I did not get the Feldrake because I do not
no.
have $500.
No, it was free.
Yeah.
It was free? When?
Yeah, you had to watch Twitch.
Like all Christmas.
Oh,
You watched 2 hours of Twitch and you got the Fell Drake for free.
Oh, I was busy like enjoying time with like family and like
That's
the
not how WoW works.
birth of Christ and all that.
I remember. Okay, let's go. Let's open our Bibles real quick. Now, when Jesus was on the cross and he looked to his left and there was the robber and the robber said, haha, you're on a stick. And then Jesus looked to the right and it was a beggar and the beggar said, I can has mount pulls. And Jesus gave him the Fell Drake out of love. And you shunned that gift.
I did.
So let's reflect on that for a minute.
Man.
Rixxy,
Yes.
do you love your customizable dragon?
So, no. I think I gotta be honest. That was one thing that held me off a little bit. I feel like from really kind of getting stuck in with the expansion initially, at least, was I kind of felt the initial mount was ugly, and then the green one wasn't much better, and I didn't like the customization. I would have preferred a system where it's like any flying mount that you have just functions like dragon riding now, or maybe it's just dragons or something. Because I guess I don't feel much. Pardon me. I guess I don't feel much attachment to the mount, and it doesn't really fit like any of my mogs. Like I have a bunch of mounts, so I'm like, I'm gonna be purple today, and I have mounts that fit that, or I have something that's green or fiery or whatever, right? But I love the mechanics of flying, like that. Is superb. I have so much fun with that. Even just kind of meandering around and not doing anything, like waiting for a queue to pop. It's like I'll just buzz around just for fun.
Hey Cam,
Yeah.
were you around for that one anniversary event where you could like get the Deathwing mount?
Yeah, I got the Deathwing one.
All right, so how would you feel if like I descended from the sky like on your dad and like your dad had a saddle on him and I was like riding him around like a pony? How would you feel if you saw that?
I'd go, way to go, Dad.
I want to do that in Dragonflight in front of Rathian.
I feel like
I have his dad like in the chastity cage on a leash, like I'm riding him like a pony, and I wanna like show off and humiliate him, but I'm not
I
allowed
feel
to
like
do
there's
that.
a problem here, in that this goes both ways. The same way that like you guys have mounts you care about that you would rather dragon ride on.
Mhm.
I like the new dragon mount. Like I kind of enjoy him so far.
Mhm.
I also have not played on my shaman or death knight, whom I have different mount selection for.
Mhm.
But the opposite happens where like I'm playing my rogue alt, right?
Yeah.
And I'm almost max level, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the Darkmoon Fair and get my profession thing up.
Mhm.
And I hit my little dragon button, and it's like, you can't use it here. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of like my new dragon mount, and then I can't use it in most places in the whole game.
Yeah,
and
that,
it's like,
that is a little weird.
That barrier both ways. It's so strange that you can't use your cool, pimped out, Deathwing mount in the dragon expansion.
Or like
And
any
also,
of the other thousands of dragon mounts that are already in the game.
Yeah, but then also all your mounts that are flying perfectly fine cannot be used on this one island.
Yep, not allowed. Because there's dragons there, and it's scary, and like, I don't like it.
And I get that the theming, like, they want dragons everywhere, and it's cool to look up in the sky, and there's kind of this uniform feeling that, wow, there's dragons everywhere.
Yeah, but also, I have a bee, and I want to zip around on my giant bee.
Well, can you just imagine, though, like, it would be so interesting to just open this up to the whole world.
Yeah, it would be kick-ass. Like, I would love to port back to Orgrimmar and, like, hop on my, like, giga-fast dragon, and then, like, within 5 minutes be all the way down in Silithus and, like, do loops around fucking Sargeras' giant sword.
Because, honestly, I keep forgetting, like, because, again, I've been playing the Evoker, which means that I can do dragon riding anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I forget, like, when I'm on my rogue and I can't do it at all once I'm in Stormwind, I'm like, oh, yeah, now I have to do this weird slow thing where I just sort of, like, float, you know, in a very 2001 era way.
Yeah, they did really good making flying much more engaging. I think that was, like, another step in the right direction. I feel like they could probably open that up to the other mounts and do a sort of Guild Wars / Wildstar thing where, like, okay, all the dragon mounts, like, they get all these cool maneuvers they can pull off because they're the kings of the sky. They get, like, the most shit that they can do. And then, like, maybe bug mounts or, like, anything with, like, the insect frame, they can, I don't know, like, pick herbs or something.
Or
and not have to
burrow or
dismount.
something.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a pseudo stealth, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I really like that idea of maybe classifying the different mounts because, again, it would be cool if your mount was special to you, and so if your bugs can help you gather herbs or whatever. I find it interesting. So the dragon riding, there's like a talent tree for some reason.
Yeah.
Does anyone use that talent tree at all?
Well, it's like a track,
not since
right?
not since I unlocked all the shit, but there are, like, optional nodes, but I don't know why you would take
2 nodes.
those. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know why you would take either.
It's what's weird about it. It's not just that there's only 2 nodes and they're kind of garbage, but when you bring up the, like, Dragonflight menu, half the UI is dedicated to that tree, and the other half is your factions.
Yeah.
And it's like, after day 1, I'm never opening this tree again. It even carries over to alts, where, like, I'm not even doing it on alts. I don't care. Like, there's no reason to look at this. So I find it so weird. Like, maybe this is the first step towards something later, but I like your idea more of, like, just classify stuff different. Have the bird mounts do something unique. Have the machine mounts do something unique. Like, they explode when you crash into the ground or something. Like,
yeah.
Have fun with it.
Dude, if machine mounts had, like, freaking guns on them or some shit, you could do, like trivial damage to airborne enemies or something. That'd be cool.
You know what I like? Did you get the Iron Man boots from Shadowlands?
I did not.
It's like an engineering toy.
Mm-mm.
So it's an engineering boot, you use it, and when you fall, it reduces your fall damage and redirects that into an AoE, but you land like your Iron Man.
That's cool, actually.
That's really fun with the Drakthir, where I'm like flying around, and when I know where I want to go, I just like zoom down and like crash into the ground and like pummel whatever I'm landing on. And it's like, I'm a master of the skies. This feels good.
Uh-huh.
You know, stuff like that with the mounts would be really fun. Because there's no like graceful landing button either. Like you have to come in like headbutt the earth.
All right, Rixxy, you are a goblin rogue. All right, your mount of choice is like a giant raven. Okay, what's your giant raven's like special mount ability? What can it do?
Ooh, so I mean, it feels like you really can't do anything with like combat. I mean, you know, you could do the redirect damage, but if it's like I don't know, a giant raven, maybe. Ooh. You know, when you land or something, it like beats its wings and either like groups up enemies or just like a big AoE pushback. Mm-hmm. Maybe like a micro stun, right?
You would like find some like loser like alone in his house at night and like just fucking slam into his window and just start tormenting him.
Caw-caw! Yeah.
And just like,
honestly. For a goblin rogue, my ideal mount would be like one of the fixed wing planes that we.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm not angry. I'm not upset. It's only been since like 2007 that we've had flying mounts and fixed wing planes in the game since even longer. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not
here's
mad.
What you do. Here's what you do for the fixed wing style planes. Like special ability for the fixed wing style planes. They go as fast as Dragonflying, but you cannot stop. So if you like land, your plane explodes, but like you can dismount like midair, and then you'll like get a parachute, and then you can do some weird shit with that, and then like the plane just continues flying until it inevitably crashes into the ground. And then you just like summon a new one. And I want to see like I've got like this mental image in my head of like the giant tower in Orgrimmar, and there's like people just repeatedly slamming airplanes into it. Some like potentially problematic.
A second fighter has hit the Zeppelin tower.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know, the mount system in WoW is weird. Where, yeah, in Dragonflight, it just feels like they designed it, like, preparing for a more in-depth, involved system, and then just didn't do it. I don't know if it's, like, a time thing, or
it absolutely
planning.
Was a time thing. Yeah, so they were talking about...
I have a theory.
What's that?
Well, I think partially a time thing, but partially they thought Shadowlands was a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're caught surprised every time the fan base complains about something. So, sincerely, I think they didn't want to work too hard on it, just in case dragon riding was the worst thing ever, and they have to take it out of the game.
Well, it was a lot the same with the Corrupted gear in Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah. It's... I don't know if you watched that interview, who's that one guy that said he wouldn't play WoW anymore, and then he decided to play WoW, so everyone was jerking him off about it?
I'm not sure.
Preach. And also, like, not to pick on him, I know, like, bad things happened recently. I'm not making fun of him for that, but I never cared for Preach's content. But he did that interview at Blizzard headquarters. You guys saw that?
Oh, is that the one where like Ian is like sobbing and crying and like he
yes.
like can't? Yeah.
So, he had an interview with Ian, and Ian was explaining how like they got these bad systems that didn't work out. But he was like defending it by saying how, at the concept phase everyone was on board, but by the time like Shadowlands actually comes out, and it's like 2 expansions behind the trend, they didn't realize how the players would perceive it at launch.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people saying like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I'm just watching this interview going like, why does everyone feel so optimistic after this interview? Like, I get this vibe that Blizzard's team is so incompetent that they can't figure this out on their own.
It's because they are.
But why is the comments on this video about how, like, oh wow, Preach's new video re-inspired my faith in Blizzard, and it's like, I lost more faith after watching it. What the fuck?
So the problem with companies like Blizzard is you do not get hired unless you know somebody there. Like, your merit as a creative does not matter. Because there are a million creative people who want to work at Blizzard. The only chance you have of getting your foot in the door is to, like, know somebody that already works there. And because of that, like, the creative, like, mental soup has, like, gotten stale. A lot of, like, ideas kind of get insisted upon, and you don't have a ton of new thought coming in. Because the only people that come in are the people who know and like Blizzard games. Like, you're not gonna have somebody come in who's like just a huge fucking Babylon 5 fan, and they're gonna come up with a concept for like a super cool, like, deep space race of gnome characters or something, you know?
I don't know if I would say that kind of like nepotism is the problem. I think it's part of it is WoW encompasses a lot of groups in in trying to make them happy. There are like the super casual people that they show up and they maybe do some dungeons with their friends. They have a little guild. There's like the RPers. There's the way more hardcore. Your super high key mythic plus. Your going for world first groups, and you have to make a game that accommodates all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is legitimately like a really monumental challenge.
For sure.
I can't fault them for I don't want to say having missteps, but struggling to read the room almost, where it's like they devise a system and they think, at least in my head, it's kind of, we need to make as many people happy as we can, and in that, you have to make changes to a design, and you have to make changes again because somebody, mentions PvP, and it kind of snowballs into a thing where it's just kind of unsatisfying to everybody, almost.
Can you really extend the benefit of the doubt to a company that has been doing this for a little over 17 years and is like one of the most successful games companies like in existence right now?
I just feel that I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's put it that way. I think that it's they have a long road ahead of them, and it's tough, and a lot of other games, it seems like literally don't care. They're not going to cater to certain groups of players, and they're almost proud of it. With the Old Republic, you know what they did? They took out rated PvP.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
And that's like one of those things where it's like there's a group of player, as small as the game is, and shrinking, they're just like gonna wash their hands of it and say, nope, that's it, we're done. But at least the developers on WoW are trying to, you got solo shuffle, that's there in perpetuity. Like, okay, we can, they have ideas and make effort, but sometimes it just ends up really misplaced. Like, I don't know. I have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
This is my cynicism speaking. I think Dragonflight so far, I'm enjoying it more than I did Shadowlands, BFA, or Legion at launch. Like, if you compare just that launch month.
Okay.
I'm feeling better about Dragonflight than the others, by comparison in that way. My concern is it feels like WoW again, in the same way that like going to a classic server felt like WoW again, and people are starting to ask, now what? Like we've been trained to expect an obnoxious gimmick or something to wrestle with.
Mm.
And in a way, because they didn't give us a problem to untangle, they just gave us a functioning extension cord and we can plug in our TV like we wanted to. It's like, oh, well, yeah, the TV's on.
Now, what are you going to watch?
Right. And so, yeah, we can watch TV again without having to untangle the cord every week. But also, it was almost a ritual for some people.
Uh-huh.
And so it's a strange problem to have because it's technically an improvement by making the experience less annoying. But like I was doing my dailies and I did like 3 days worth of dailies and it's like, oh, I'm done with my dailies for the week. And so I just didn't play for the rest of the week. And I wish I could have done that in Shadowlands, but now that I can actually do it in Dragonflight, my Warcraft like game time has been mostly me playing Fortnite. Because I don't have to log in and do my WoW chores. And so I'm wondering how things feel like, you know, once this raid is kind of done and figured out and everyone's happy with it, what the numbers will really look like, you know?
I feel like this is probably the best time for a new player to get into World of Warcraft for that exact
I'd say
reason.
that.
Yeah. Like, there's not a ton of shit that you have to go and do. The only thing, like, yeah, there's no, like, artifact power, there's no, like, Azerite gear you gotta go farm, like, you do dungeons, you do the raid, like, you try and farm your best in slot, and, wait for your vault every week, and, like, most of the people that I'm playing with are, like, sitting around 395, 400 item level, which is, like, you know, mythic, you know? There's not a whole lot to do except for, you know, go for those super high keys or like go for those super difficult mythic bosses.
I guess I agree with from a mechanical perspective, this is probably the best time for a new player to play. But I have a hard time justifying it, like explaining. Like what's the central conflict of like explain Dragonflight for me as a gamer that knows nothing. It's like I can point at every other expansion and say, here are the bad guys, here's what's going on, this is your part in it, and it feels a lot more natural. Dragonflight is kind of awkward, and it's like, yeah, there's the Alliance and the Horde, and they've had this thing for a long time, and we're kind of pushing that off to the side, and there's a bunch of weird dragon politics and whatever. I don't know, it's a little harder to approach.
No, tell me what your elevator pitch to a new player for Shadowlands is.
Oh god, okay, that one's tough. Well, in Shadowlands, we have a bad guy that is, you know, they have breached into the afterlife. They have gone beyond like life and death, and, you know, everyone's immortal soul is at stake in this war between, you know, not the heavens, but in, you know, everybody's immortal soul is sort of in conflict against a threat that is, you know, poised to, you know, kind of ruin everybody's day from now until the end of time. So I feel like at least there's an identifiable, there's like a villain, right? It's kind of straightforward as
No. I'm going to stop you right there. You're not describing an MMO, you're describing a JRPG.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Dragonflight, is the elevator pitch for a new player is there's this cool new island to explore. You get a dragon and you can fly around and just find all kinds of shit to do.
I guess. I don't know.
There's not the narrative. The narrative's missing. I know a lot of people like having the strong narrative.
I'll do you one better,
but for
Cam.
me,
I'll do you one better.
Like, I'd rather discover a cave that happens to have a half walrus, half mermaid in it, and go, how did you guys come to be? And then they show me graphic pornography of it happening.
My elevator pitch for World of Warcraft Dragonflight, alright? It's like Fortnite with dragons.
It sort of is.
Yeah?
You pick where to drop.
You'd play that.
And you find whatever you can. Okay, well, let's wrap up our thoughts, I guess. So let's go around the table. Rixxy, do you have any closing comments for the start of Dragonflight?
I think it was a pretty strong start. generally speaking, I think it was it was good. I would not say exceptional. I would not say great. I would say this is kind of like, on a scale of 10, like a solid 7, I guess.
Okay, that's good, I think.
It made me want to play, but it was not something that it made me like want to play. I didn't feel like I could get super wrapped up in it, but it was like, no, I'll play WoW. I'll boot it up. Like, let's go.
I think Dragon Kino is like 200% back, 10 out of 10. XIV losers are like fucking coping and seething. We're back, baby. Let's go.
Did you play the raid yet?
I did. I played a lot of the raid.
Did you like it?
I did. It's alright.
He got gear.
Yeah.
I think the raid's kind of fun. As far as first raids go, I thought it was like, there's a couple bosses that feel like cinematic or interesting, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, the first raid, I feel like World of Warcraft has this habit of like the first raid just being a fucking literal who kind of raid, and then like
a little bit.
Raid 2, you get like some named characters. You got to fight like a named character. Raid 3, you're usually on like another planet or some shit. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
I guess I think I kind of said it already, but I'm feeling pretty positive-ish. I know like they hired Chris Metzen as like some sort of advisor role, and people are acting like he's gonna fix the game, and I feel like the old man where it's like, you guys, like, all you newer players think that he saved it or something, but
he was responsible for Cataclysm.
People were happy when he left, and I think that like there's a little bit of rose-tinted glasses.
You know what?
So
if for no other reason than because he legitimately cares, I think
he does. I would prefer him over other people that are currently on staff at Blizzard.
I would
right
prefer
now.
him over Denuser like any day of the week.
It's just the way that people are acting like, oh, they finally fixed WoW.
Yeah.
Like, oh, next patch, Thrall's going to come back and fix everything.
Thrall's going to come
I'm
back
like pulling
and
my
he's
hair
going
out.
to
Like,
fucking rock up to Alex Strauss and just like slap her tits and be like, "What's this, babe?" And then he's going to fucking like one shot.
Got to temper things a bit.
Yeah.
Chris Metzen is like the George Lucas of Star Wars, I think.
Yeah.
Or of Warcraft, I mean. Where I don't know. I
No, you're right.
I feel like they actually share a very similar archetype. They both very much care, in their heart and soul. They're very genuine about the thing that they've helped create. And they've made some kind of ridiculous decisions, but at the end of the day, I would like to see them in that seat again. Even
George
though
Lucas works best when he has someone reliable to say no.
Yeah. When he like he's very much like a visual guy. He's like a cinematographer. But
he's literally an ideas guy. Like,
yeah.
I feel like people throw that word around a lot. He has these great ideas. Hand those ideas to competent writers and stand back and let them work.
He's an
and you'll
ideas
get the
guy,
best thing ever.
But he has the benefit of like actually, fucking trying to make something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work, but you get somebody who knows how to make it marketable, and it's usually good shit. Like, even his, independent projects, like, they weren't all great, but, like, the content that's there was at least interesting.
I think it's going to be fun to watch how this expansion rolls out. We got, like, the next big patch or whatever. I like that we have a roadmap to kind of measure, how we're moving along through the year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's I'll toast to that. I'm happy that it's not a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it could have been infinitely worse, and like coming off of Shadowlands, like I wasn't expecting much, and to have this, like I'm pretty happy with it, Like, it seems like most of the classes feel, at a bare minimum, fun to play. Nobody is, like, just super shit out of luck at the moment. I can't really speak to healers. Like, the stuff that I care about, like, the mechanics of the game, like, that's all there. I don't have to worry about, annoying bullshit that I have to deal with this month.
My homework before the next tavern, Timegate Tavern, I want to try a lot more of my different classes I'm familiar with and see how they really feel.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to do homework. I'm just saying,
Do you
in the back of my mind, I want to experiment a bit more.
Are you gonna try and get like heroic gear and like your like 4-piece tier set and like trinkets and shit?
Not on my alts. I feel like I actually want to dedicate time to my evoker. Like I'm gonna treat it like a main.
Okay.
I want to at least get the other classes to max level so I have all their talents.
Mm-hmm.
And, try a couple dungeons and go, okay, I see where this is going.
I
can speak to that.
I would spend a little extra time on your alts and at least try and get the 2-piece tier bonus. Because for a lot of classes, like that, like seriously changes how they feel.
But yeah, overall, I'm feeling okay. Rixxy, thanks for another fun time.
Yeah.
As always.
Rixxy, I feel like I cut you off there. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
I love my homies. That's all.
Aw. Are we your homies? I just had to double check.
Absolutely.
Aw.
Without a doubt. The fact that you had to ask is insulting.
If we weren't, I would have murdered you in your sleep.
Okay, Herc, you?
Drink your Ovaltine.
Okay, drink your Ovaltine. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Goodbye now. Bye.
Better make my taste buds dance. Something fat free so I can fit in my pants. Try the others like Nestle Quick. I drink that shit, then my thighs get thick. Little young to have caffeine. Gotta make me some Ovaltine.
Yeah,